Welcome back today. Today, we're diving deep into the world of the most expensive US coins ever sold, exploring jaw-dropping auction prices, fascinating history, and what makes these coins so incredibly valuable. So let's get started. First up, the peace dollar was introduced in 1921 to celebrate the end of World War I and the peace that followed. Minted for a brief period, the peace dollar series spans from 1921 to 1935. This coin symbolizes the optimism of the post-war era, with its graceful designs and the hope for a lasting peace. The 1922 peace dollar is one of the most iconic coins in the entire series. The design was created by Anthony DeFrancisci, an American artist who won the U.S. Treasury Department's design competition for this new coin. The peace dollar was notable for its sleek, modernist design, which was a departure from the more traditional coins in circulation at the time. In 1922, the peace dollar was produced without a mint mark, as it was only minted at the Philadelphia Mint that year. A unique feature of this year's coin is the large date variety, which has become a key distinguishing factor for collectors. The large digits on the coin give it a bold and distinct appearance, setting it apart from other years in the series. In circulated condition, the 1922 peace dollar is quite valuable, especially when preserved well. The obverse of the 1922 peace dollar features a portrait of Lady Liberty, modeled after the artist's wife, Teresa de Francisci. Liberty is portrayed wearing a diadem with the word Liberty inscribed across the top. Her serene face reflects the ideals of peace and hope that were associated with the end of the Great War. The date, 1922, appears at the bottom, and the coin also bears the words, "In God We Trust," inscribed above her head. On the reverse side, there is an image of an eagle perched on a rock, its wings spread wide in a powerful and graceful manner. The eagle holds an olive branch in one claw and arrows in the other, signifying peace and strength. Surrounding the eagle is the inscription, "United States of America" along the top, and "E pluribus unum" beneath it. The coin's value, $1, is inscribed along the bottom. The large date variety on the 1922 peace dollar is characterized by the distinctively larger numbers used for the year. This feature makes the 1922 peace dollar stand out among the more common years in the peace dollar series. The mintage of the 1922 peace dollar was substantial, with the Philadelphia Mint producing 51.7 million coins that year. This high mintage is part of the reason why the coin is more widely available compared to other years in the series. However, when it comes to the large date variety, it's important to note that this particular version is highly sought after by collectors, especially in circulated condition. As of today, the 1922 peace dollar in circulated condition typically carries a price range from $200,000. However, in higher grades such as MS-63 or MS-65, the value can skyrocket into the several $100 range, with some auction results showing prices approaching $300,000 or more for coins in pristine condition. Special attention is given to coins that retain their luster and have minimal wear, as these are the ones that command the highest market values. Collectors of peace dollars are particularly attracted to the 1922 variety due to its historical significance and its unique place in the series. While the high mintage might suggest that these coins are not particularly rare, their value in the market is influenced by the demand for well-preserved examples. Coins with strong eye appeal, with no major wear to Lady Liberty's features, can fetch premium prices at auctions. Additionally, error collectors often find interest in specific varieties or mistakes during the minting process, further driving the demand for these coins. The 1922 peace dollar, especially with the large date variety, is seen as an important coin for building a comprehensive peace dollar collection. Next up, fast forward to the early 1990s, and you find yourself in the midst of a different era in the history of U.S. coinage. The 1990s were a time of economic growth and technological advancement, and the minting of coins had largely shifted to using modern methods that minimized the kinds of errors seen in earlier years. However, despite the improvements in the minting process, mistakes still happen. The 1991 Washington quarter is a prime example of such a mistake, featuring a P error mint mark. This coin is part of the Washington Quarter series that has been minted since 1932, with George Washington's portrait remaining unchanged throughout the years. The 1991 coin is particularly notable because of the mint mark error. Instead of the correct D mint mark for Denver, the coin erroneously has a P mint mark, denoting the Philadelphia Mint. In the case of the 1991 Washington Quarter, however, the mint mark error is what makes this coin interesting. The P mint mark, which was used for coins minted in Philadelphia, was never intended to appear on quarters after 1981. This was because the U.S. Mint stopped minting quarters in Philadelphia after that year and instead began minting them at the Denver Mint. Therefore, the P mint mark appearing on a quarter from 1991 is an error and is considered a rare and valuable anomaly in the world of numismatics. The 1991 Washington Quarter had a relatively large mintage, with billions of these coins being struck in various mints across the United States. However, as with all coins that have an error or mistake, the total number of 1991 Washington Quarters with a P mint mark is much smaller. The P mint mark error is the defining characteristic of this coin. Errors like this are highly prized by collectors, especially because they are relatively rare in this specific year and minting process. While the mistake of placing the P mint mark on the quarter was not a major one in the grand scheme of minting history, it still stands out as a significant flaw in the process. Collectors are especially drawn to mint mark errors, as they represent both historical anomalies and opportunities to own something that was never intended to exist in that form. This error adds value and intrigue to what would otherwise be a standard coin, turning it into a piece of numismatic history. In terms of market value, a 1991 Washington Quarter with a P mint mark error in dirty condition is generally worth anywhere from $20,000 in auction markets. However, if the coin were to be in better condition or feature a more pronounced error, its value could increase substantially. Coins with this type of error that have been graded in higher conditions could sell for $26,000 or more, depending on their appeal to collectors. Next up, the 1806. Liberty Walking $1, also known as the Liberty Walking half dollar, is one of the most iconic coins in American numismatic history. Minted between 1916 and 1947, it is renowned for its beautiful design and its representation of the ideal of liberty. The coin was designed by Adolph A. Weinman, one of the most famous engravers and designers of the 20th century. The Liberty Walking half dollar was introduced during a time when the U.S. economy was shifting, and there was a demand for a coin that embodied the strength and independence of the American people. The year 1906 is particularly notable due to the large production of coins during this time, as the United States was growing both economically and politically. The Liberty Walking design was highly praised for its detailed depiction of liberty and its symbolic representation of the nation's strength. The obverse of the Liberty Walking half dollar features a full-length depiction of Lady Liberty walking confidently toward the sun. She is draped in the American flag, with her right hand extended as though greeting the new day. The words, "Liberty" are inscribed at the top, and "In God We Trust" is engraved to the right of her figure. The date 1906 is inscribed below her feet, along with the mint mark, if applicable, at the bottom. On the reverse side, the design shows an eagle in flight, wings spread wide as it carries an olive branch and arrows in its talons. This represents both peace and readiness for defense. The inscription, United States of America, is along the top, with E pluribus unum below. The coin's face value half dollar is shown at the bottom. This stunning design has been praised for its balance of grace and power, and it's considered one of the most beautiful coin designs ever created by the U.S. Mint. The 1906 Liberty Walking half dollar was part of a significant mintage year, with over 12.5 million coins produced at the Philadelphia Mint. While this number might seem large, many coins from this era were heavily circulated, and finding high-quality specimens today can be quite challenging. In dirty condition or with a blackened tone due to oxidation, the market value for the 1906 Liberty Walking half dollar is relatively lower than coins in mint condition. However, the coin's historical significance and high demand among collectors still give it a considerable market value typically ranging from $50,000 in such a state. The most valuable examples, especially in mint state MS grades, can exceed $94,000 or more, with some rare auction results pushing the value even higher. Collectors highly prize coins that retain much of their original luster, as these are much rarer than coins that have been heavily worn or tarnished. Collectors are particularly drawn to the Liberty Walking half-dollar series due to its aesthetic appeal and historical context. While 1906 is not one of the rarest years in the series, its beauty and iconic status make it highly sought after, especially in higher grades. The coin's black color, or dirty condition, can actually add a unique character to the piece for some collectors. Many numismatists enjoy studying coins in their more natural, worn states, as they can reveal more about the coin's history and the conditions it has endured. Next up, the 1982 Washington quarter was minted during a transitional period in U.S. coinage. By the early 1980s, the mint was dealing with rising metal costs and adjusting to new production methods. The design of the Washington quarter remained unchanged from the 1930s, though its production numbers had been considerably high due to the ongoing need for quarters in circulation. The 1982 Washington quarter features the typical John Flanagan design on the obverse and reverse, with George Washington on the front and an eagle on the reverse. However, what makes this particular coin noteworthy is its large date and the prominent error in the mint mark. The design is standard for the Washington quarter series, but the large date feature was a distinct characteristic of the 1982 coins. While the 1982 quarters were mostly issued with a smaller date, a number of these quarters were minted with a larger, bolder date. This error, while subtle, is enough to make the coin stand out among others from the same year. The reverse side features the eagle, and again, the D mint mark, indicating the coin was minted at the Denver Mint, is present. But the real error here lies in the mint mark itself. It is not just misaligned or doubled. It appears to be a mistake in the production process, which resulted in an unusual, non-standard appearance. Additionally, the coin's condition is heavily influenced by its exposure to dirt, causing it to have a black, dirty look that further sets it apart from other more pristine versions of this quarter. The total mintage of the 1982 Washington quarter was around 414 million coins, with the Denver Mint producing a significant portion of that number. While this was a regular production year for quarters, the existence of the large date error and the unique black, dirty condition has made certain examples highly sought after by error coin collectors. In today's auction market, a 1982 Washington quarter in black, dirty condition with the D error mint mark could be worth between $14,000 depending on the severity of the condition and the collector's interest in error coins from this year. If the coin has been authenticated and graded by professional services, it could see an increase in value, especially if it is identified as having a major error, making it even rarer and more valuable. The 1982 Washington quarter is considered a rare find due to its large date and the D mint mark error, which could be a result of improper die preparation or other mishaps at the Denver Mint during that period. Errors like these often drive collectors wild, as they represent a mistake made during the minting process. Collectors of error coins are drawn to these oddities, and they often value them higher than their non-error counterparts, as they are seen as anomalies in the minting process. The black, dirty condition of this coin adds another layer of collector interest. Many coin collectors are interested in pieces that show signs of wear and age, and coins in unusual states of dirt or oxidation are particularly valuable to those who specialize in problem coins. The story behind the coin, how it came to be in such a condition, adds to its mystery and allure. Next up, the U.S. trade dollar series is one of the most significant coinages in American history. Introduced in 1873, the trade dollar was minted to facilitate trade with China and other countries. However, the coin we're focusing on today is much earlier from 1791 and is widely regarded as one of the foundational coins of the United States Mint. The trade dollar of 1791 is a product of the post-Revolutionary War period when the United States was just beginning to establish itself as a new nation. The mint, which was founded in 1792 under the Coinage Act, was designed to mint U.S. currency, but the designs were still in their infancy during the first few years. Interestingly, in 1791, the United States was not yet minting a coin series specifically called the trade dollar. The original trade dollar concept would come later in the 19th century. However, what is often referred to as the 1791 trade dollar could be a special issue or misattributed coin. Due to the lack of extensive records from that period, the 1791 trade dollar holds a mystique about it, and its details are fascinating to numismatists. The S-Mint mark on this coin indicates it was struck at the San Francisco Mint, though the facility was not officially established until 1937. The mintage of this coin is speculative and highly debated among collectors. Since there was no official trade dollar coinage until 1873, the 1791 trade dollar has left historians and collectors searching for definitive proof of its origins. As far as market value is concerned, the rarity of this coin has made it extremely valuable. The price of the coin today can vary widely depending on condition, but in fine condition, this coin could fetch between $50,000 to $200,000 in today's auction market, or even more depending on the specific circumstances of the auction and collector interest. One of the most striking aspects of the 1791 trade dollar is its design. The large date, which is clearly visible on the coin, features a well-balanced and symmetrical font that reflects the classical influence of the late 18th century. The reverse of the coin is beautifully detailed, showing Lady Liberty holding a sheaf of wheat and an olive branch. This design is symbolic of the United States' agricultural strength and its pursuit of peace through trade. The coin's edge is reeded, a design choice that was not only aesthetically pleasing but also functional, as it helped prevent the coin from being shaved or clipped. As with most coins from this era, the fine details are well preserved, especially in the fine condition of this example. The obverse features a stunning portrait of Lady Liberty, draped in flowing robes, her hair swept back in a way that exudes both strength and grace. The coin's edge shows some wear due to its age, but the central features remain clear and well-defined. When it comes to rare coins, errors can play a huge role in determining value. For example, an incorrect mint mark, a misstruck coin, or even unusual features that are inconsistent with the original design can cause a significant bump in the coin's worth. In the case of the 1791 trade dollar, there are few known errors, but one interesting fact is the coin's minting process. Some coins from this era were known to have been struck with dies that had been improperly polished or had imperfections. These small, often undetectable mistakes are what make these coins even more valuable to collectors today. The collector interest for this coin is intense due to its early place in American coinage. For collectors, owning a piece of U.S. history like this, especially one that holds such a unique place in the story of the mint, is a true prize. The high auction prices reflect this interest. Collectors are not just paying for the silver content of the coin, they are paying for the rich history it represents, and the story it tells about the United States' early years as a fledgling nation. Next up, the 1968 Washington quarter represents another transitional moment in the history of U.S. coinage. While it doesn't carry the same significance as the 1965 quarter, which marked the end of silver coinage, it still plays a vital role in the broader context of American numismatics. The year 1968 was a time of cultural and political upheaval in the United States, with significant events such as the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr. and the ongoing Vietnam War dominating the national conversation. From a numismatic perspective, the 1968 quarter was part of a broader effort by the U.S. Mint to create a series of coins that would be both functional and cost-effective in terms of production. Much like the 1965 Washington quarter, the 1968 quarter was struck using the same copper-nickel-clad composition that had been introduced a few years earlier. By the time 1968 rolled around, the U.S. Mint had adjusted to the use of this new material, and it had become the standard for coinage production. The 1968 quarter is notable for its large date variety, which means that the numbers in the date appear larger than usual. This is an example of a subtle yet important variation that collectors look for when assessing Washington quarters from this time period. Like the 1965 quarter, the design of the 1968 Washington quarter featured John Flanagan's portrait of George Washington on the obverse, along with a heraldic eagle on the reverse. The coin's design remained virtually unchanged from the earlier Washington quarters, maintaining its iconic status as a symbol of American unity and strength. Despite the changes in composition, the visual characteristics of the coin remained constant, ensuring that it continued to represent the enduring legacy of Washington's leadership. What makes the 1968 Washington quarter unique, however, is the presence of the large date variety. The numbers in the date are significantly larger and more prominent than on other quarters from this era. This slight alteration, though not immediately obvious to the casual observer, is a notable feature for coin collectors who specialize in Washington quarters, or those who enjoy tracking the subtle differences in minting practices from year to year. The 1968 quarter's reverse features a bold eagle, which is depicted with its wings spread and its gaze directed outward. The design is striking, emphasizing the nation's strength and unity during a turbulent time in American history. The eagle itself is a symbol of freedom and the power of the American people. The total mintage of the 1968 Washington quarter was substantial, with more than 500 million coins produced across the Philadelphia and Denver mints. As a result, this coin is relatively common in circulated condition, although certain variations, such as the large date variety, are more sought after by collectors. For the 1968 Washington quarter in its standard condition, values typically range from $50,000. However, the coin's market value can increase depending on the presence of specific errors or variations, such as the large date variety or specific condition factors. Coins in higher grades can command significantly higher values. For example, an MS-65 or MS-66 example of a 1968 Washington quarter can sell for $58,000, with auction prices occasionally reaching even higher amounts when the coin is in excellent condition. The black color and dirty condition of a coin do not typically increase its value in the traditional sense. However, these characteristics do contribute to its appearance and can affect its grading. Coins that show signs of dirt, tarnish, or discoloration often experience depreciation in value, as collectors typically prefer coins with minimal wear and a clean, appealing surface. Even so, coins with unusual surface characteristics can still spark interest among collectors who specialize in oddities or error coins, so there is always a market for them. Like many coins from this era, the 1968 Washington quarter is not typically associated with major minting errors. However, there are some minor variations that can influence the coin's value, including differences in the positioning of the date and slight variations in the design details. For example, some collectors are interested in coins where the date appears slightly off-center, or the minting process caused slight shifts in the design. These are relatively minor errors, but can be highly desirable to error coin collectors. The market for 1968 Washington quarters has shown steady growth in recent years, with particular interest in high-grade specimens and those with distinctive characteristics. Coins in dirty or blackened condition, while not generally considered to be highly valuable, still find their place in the niche markets for collectors who value oddities or coins with unique visual appeal. Next, we move on to one of the most iconic and culturally significant coins in American history. The 1906 Ellis Island coin, also known as the American Liberty $1. This coin is far more than just currency. It's a tribute to the millions of immigrants who passed through Ellis Island, the historic gateway to America. Designed to commemorate the opening of the new immigration station on Ellis Island, this coin holds both cultural and historical value that appeals to a wide range of collectors. The 1906 Ellis Island coin was struck in honor of the opening of the new immigration station at Ellis Island, located in New York Harbor. Between 1892 and 1954, over 12 million immigrants passed through Ellis Island on their way to starting a new life in the United States. The coin was minted to recognize this monumental chapter in American history. The coin features a dramatic portrait of Liberty, which was designed by famed artist Augustus St. Gaudens. His work was renowned for its ability to capture the spirit of America in a way that had not been done before. The imagery on the coin speaks to the ideals of freedom, opportunity, and the American dream that immigrants hoped to find upon arriving in the U.S. In the year 1906, the coin was minted at the Philadelphia Mint, as indicated by the P mint mark. The Ellis Island coin was part of a series of commemorative coins issued in the early 20th century. These coins were produced to raise awareness and funds for various projects, including the dedication of important national monuments and the celebration of historical milestones. Today, the coin is an enduring symbol of the immigrant experience and continues to be highly sought after in the collector market. The 1906 Ellis Island coin is a remarkable example of early 20th century numismatic art. The obverse features a finely detailed portrait of Liberty, who is depicted in a strong and noble pose. She wears a crown of stars, symbolizing the ideals of freedom and democracy. The reverse showcases an eagle in flight, a powerful symbol of the United States, along with a bold inscription that reads, United States of America and $1. The design of the Ellis Island coin stands out because it embodies both the spirit of America and the concept of liberty. The intricate design on both sides of the coin is what makes it such a desirable piece among collectors. As for the circulated condition, this particular coin is less than pristine but still holds significant value. In circulated condition, the coin's design features might be slightly worn, and its surfaces show signs of use, but its rarity and historical importance still drive the market. In today's auction market, the 1906 Ellis Island coin can fetch anywhere from $20,000 to $100,000 in circulated condition, depending on the exact quality and demand at the time of sale. The value of this coin has steadily increased as the public's interest in U.S. commemorative coins has grown. Its historical importance and connection to the immigrant experience in America make it a unique item that transcends typical coin collecting. As with many collectible coins, errors play an important role in increasing value. While the 1906 Ellis Island coin is not known for any major errors, minor misstrikes and unique characteristics can still make a difference in the market. For example, coins with unusual wear patterns or slight variations in the minting process are often more valuable because they are considered rare anomalies. Collector interest in this coin is incredibly strong, particularly among those who are drawn to the history of immigration in the United States. As a commemoration of the immigrant experience, the 1906 Ellis Island coin carries a deep emotional connection for many people. This interest, combined with the coin's historical significance and high-quality design, makes it a prized possession for collectors and investors alike. The 1995 Washington Quarter is part of the ongoing series of quarters issued by the United States Mint, featuring George Washington on the obverse and an eagle on the reverse. This quarter falls within the period of modern U.S. coinage, when coins were being produced in high volumes, yet some unique and rare errors would slip through the mint's production process. The Washington Quarter was originally designed by John Flanagan in 1932 to commemorate George Washington's 200th birthday. Over the years, the design has remained relatively consistent, with only minor modifications for commemorative purposes. The 1995 Washington Quarter, however, gained attention not just for its place in the series, but due to an unusual color alteration, something that's very rare in coins, the full rusty red color. As with other Washington Quarters, the obverse features a portrait of George Washington, surrounded by the inscription Liberty and the year of minting 1995. The reverse depicts an eagle with outstretched wings, symbolizing strength and freedom, with the words United States of America and E Pluribus Unum inscribed around it. The coin was minted at the Denver Mint, which is identified by the D mint mark beneath the eagle. What makes this coin particularly interesting is the full rusty red color. Typically, coins of this era exhibit wear from circulation, but they do not have the intense oxidation that produces such a pronounced rust effect. Coins in this condition are rare, and collectors are intrigued by how this transformation occurred. The coin's color could result from exposure to certain environmental conditions, such as humidity, salt, or chemical interactions over time, which is not typical for most coins in circulation. The mintage of the 1995 Washington Quarter was relatively high, with millions of these coins produced. In total, Approximately 1.4 billion quarters were minted in 1995 across all locations, with the Denver Mint producing over 400 million of them. Despite the large number of coins produced, the rarity of the full rusty red condition makes this piece a standout. Coins with unusual colorations or weathering tend to attract more attention, which significantly impacts the value. In today's market, a 1995 Washington quarter in full rusty red color with the D mint mark could fetch anywhere from $8,000 depending on its specific condition and buyer interest. However, this value can increase dramatically if the coin has been authenticated by a grading service such as PCGS or NGC. Coins that are graded at a high level, even in unusual conditions, may have a premium attached due to their rarity. If the coin has received a grade of AU about uncirculated or mint state, its value could potentially exceed $9,000 in the right auction setting. Although this particular quarter does not exhibit a minting error in terms of misprints or off-center strikes, the condition and color of the coin have drawn the attention of collectors of error coins. Error collectors are often willing to pay a premium for coins that exhibit unusual or unexpected characteristics, even if they aren't official minting errors. Collectors are particularly drawn to coins with distinctive colorations, as these pieces are often seen as unique. In this case, the rusty red coloration may also hint at environmental interaction, adding a layer of intrigue for those interested in how coins change and transform over time. Rusty or oxidized coins are generally not in high demand because most collectors prefer coins in pristine or near-mint condition. However, certain collectors see value in the stories that these coins tell about their life on Earth, making them more attractive to the right buyer. Many collectors view these quarters as a symbol of the evolving world of numismatics, where rarity and value are not always defined by minting errors, but also by the uniqueness of a coin's condition. This makes coins like the 1995 Washington quarter even more desirable. Next up, the trade dollar is one of the most fascinating coins in U.S. history. Struck primarily for use in international trade, particularly with China, the trade dollar was authorized by the Coinage Act of 1873. Unlike most U.S. coins, the trade dollar was minted specifically to facilitate commerce with Asian countries, especially China, where U.S. silver coins were widely accepted. The 1873 trade dollar holds particular interest among numismatists due to its unique role in U.S. monetary history. As the U.S. sought to increase its presence in the global trade market during the late 19th century, the trade dollar became a crucial piece of this strategy. However, by 1876, the coin was discontinued in favor of other forms of currency as the U.S. shifted its focus away from international trade and towards domestic monetary stability. The 1873 coin, in particular, is notable for its large date variety, which refers to the size and style of the numerals used to denote the year on the obverse side of the coin. This variation became highly significant as collectors began to distinguish between the different minting styles. The lack of a mint mark further adds to the coin's intrigue, as it indicates the coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, the primary minting facility at the time. In 1873, the U.S. Mint produced several varieties of the trade dollar, with and without mint marks. The Philadelphia Mint, which produced the coins without a mint mark, struck a relatively low number of these trade dollars, making them rarer and more desirable among collectors. The exact mintage for the 1873 trade dollar without a mint mark is 2,124,000. This relatively low production number, combined with the historical significance of the trade dollar, contributes to its high collector value. Unlike many other coins produced in the late 19th century, the 1873 trade dollar was not primarily intended for circulation within the U.S., meaning that fewer of them have survived in high-grade condition. Today, finding a well-preserved example, especially in circulated condition, can be a challenge. The trade dollar has one of the most beautiful and distinct designs of any U.S. coin. The obverse features a portrait of Lady Liberty with flowing hair and a wreath of cotton and corn. Liberty is depicted as a strong, confident figure, symbolizing the power of the United States in international trade. The inscription, Liberty, is featured prominently across her headband, and 1873 is placed below her. The large date variety of this coin is particularly distinguishable due to the larger numerals used in the year, which can be clearly seen on the obverse. Collectors often seek out this variety for its distinctiveness. While the 1873 trade dollar is known for its unique design and historical importance, it is also notable for a variety of minor minting errors that can be found on the coin. One such error is the misalignment of the obverse and reverse dies, which can create coins with off-center designs. This type of error adds to the rarity and desirability of the coin among collectors, as such mistakes make the piece even more valuable and unique. Additionally, some 1,873 trade dollars were struck with weak details due to issues with the striking process, leading to coins that may exhibit faded or incomplete features, especially in the intricate details of Lady Liberty's hair or the eagle's feathers. Such coins may be considered less desirable by high-end collectors but can still hold value depending on their overall condition. As of today's auction market, the value of the 1873 trade dollar without a mint mark in circulated condition can vary significantly depending on its grade and overall preservation. In general, coins in fine or very fine condition can fetch anywhere between $10,500 to $30,500 at auction. However, for coins that exhibit high-grade features or minimal wear, the price can climb into the $50,000 to $70,000 range. Rare, error-free examples or coins that have been well preserved despite their age can command even higher prices. Auctions and private sales for this coin tend to feature varying prices depending on demand and the condition of the coin in question. The 1873 trade dollar is highly prized by collectors for its historical significance, rarity, and design features. Coin collectors who specialize in U.S. silver coins, international trade coins, or even 19th century U.S. minting are particularly keen on acquiring this piece. Additionally, the coin is sought after by those who appreciate the distinct design work and the story behind the creation of the trade dollar. Collectors of U.S. coins generally consider the 1873 trade dollar to be a cornerstone piece of any advanced collection. Its scarcity in uncirculated and error-free condition ensures that the demand for this coin remains strong, which helps maintain its value in the marketplace. Next up, the 1965 Washington quarter stands as one of the most iconic coins in the United States history. As the mid-1960s were a time of significant change for American currency, the 1965 Washington quarter marks a pivotal moment. It was during this era that the U.S. Mint made a monumental decision to eliminate silver from most circulating coinage. This was done as a response to a nationwide shortage of silver and rising costs of production due to the demand for silver in various industrial uses. The Coinage Act of 1965 allowed the mint to switch the composition of quarters from 90% silver to a more economical mix of copper and nickel. In 1965, the Washington quarter, which had been minted in silver since its introduction in 1932, was one of the first coins to undergo this transition. The mint decided to strike the 1965 quarters using a copper-nickel-clad composition instead. This significant change not only made the coin more affordable, but also altered its appearance, leaving collectors and investors to eagerly watch for variations in the coins that might mark this transitional period. The 1965 Washington quarter's move to copper-nickel composition, combined with its first year of release without silver, holds substantial importance for both numismatists and history buffs alike. However, the most important aspect of the 1965 Washington quarter is its transition away from the silver content. It became a symbol of the shift in the U.S. Mint's strategy to maintain an adequate supply of coinage while addressing the nation's economic concerns regarding precious metals. In terms of size, the coin retained the same diameter, 24.3 millimeters, and weight 6.25 grams as its silver predecessors, despite the change in material. These specifications ensured that the 1965 Washington quarter continued to function as a stable unit of currency. One of the defining features of the 1965 Washington quarter is its high mintage. The total number of 1965 quarters produced was over 1.8 billion, making it a relatively common coin in the grand scheme of things. The Philadelphia Mint struck over 1.6 billion quarters, and the Denver Mint produced over 240 million. However, due to its significance as the first year that the U.S. Mint removed silver from circulating quarters, the coin has drawn the attention of collectors who are eager to complete sets of transitional pieces in their collections. While it may not be one of the rarest coins out there, it certainly holds a special place in the world of U.S. numismatics. For a coin in fine condition, collectors can expect the 1965 Washington quarter to hold a market value between $40,000. While it may not be worth a significant amount at face value, it is essential to understand that collectors are drawn to these coins for their historical importance. For coins in higher grades, such as extremely fine or uncirculated conditions, the value can rise to anywhere between $45,000, depending on the specific quality of the coin and its provenance. While the 1965 Washington quarter is not known for any specific minting errors, there are some variations and factors that influence its value. For instance, certain 1965 quarters show signs of die wear or other slight inconsistencies in the minting process. Coins with unique characteristics, such as minor die cracks or doubling, can command higher values among collectors. These types of imperfections are often prized by those seeking rare examples from this transitional period. One of the most notable errors involving the 1965 Washington quarter relates to the coin's composition. Occasionally, some 1965 quarters were struck with the wrong amount of copper or nickel, leading to subtle but noticeable differences in their appearance. While these errors are rare, they are highly sought after by advanced collectors who enjoy hunting for variations in coinage. In terms of collector interest, the 1965 Washington quarter is considered an important addition to any collection. It is especially popular with collectors who focus on coins from the 1960s, as the coin represents the end of the silver era and the beginning of a new chapter in U.S. currency. Many collectors consider the 1965 Washington quarter a key date in modern coinage, as it marks the start of a new era in terms of material usage and design. Over the past few years, the market value of the 1965 Washington quarter has remained relatively stable. While the coin is not rare enough to be considered a high-value collector's piece, it is still valuable due to its historical significance. As interest in transitional coins and modern U.S. coinage continues to grow, it is likely that the value of the 1965 Washington quarter will see gradual increases, especially in high-grade conditions. Coins that are graded MS-65 or higher can fetch values closer to $68,000, and sometimes even more at auction depending on their overall quality and market demand. Next up, the Morgan dollar is one of the most iconic coins in U.S. numismatic history. First minted in 1878, it was designed by George T. Morgan, a talented engraver at the U.S. Mint. The Morgan dollar became the standard silver coin of the U.S. for nearly 30 years, circulating widely in both domestic and international markets. By the time the 1887 Morgan dollar was produced, the coin had firmly established itself as a staple of U.S. coinage. The 1887 Morgan dollar, specifically the variety with an S mint mark, was struck at the San Francisco Mint, one of the busiest and most productive minting facilities at the time. The coin is part of a series that is particularly significant for collectors due to the varying minting techniques and differences in coin quality across different years and mint locations. The 1887 Morgan dollar holds a particular fascination for collectors because it was minted during a time when the U.S. was experiencing significant economic and industrial growth. The late 1800s saw the U.S. emerging as a global power, and the Morgan dollar became symbolic of the nation's strength in the world economy. The mintage of the 1887 Morgan dollar with the S mint mark stands at 2,850,000 coins. While this mintage number is relatively high compared to other years in the Morgan dollar series, the demand for this coin, particularly in high-grade circulated condition, remains strong. Additionally, the coin's popularity among collectors of U.S. silver dollars ensures that it continues to be a desirable piece in the numismatic market. The 1887 S Morgan dollar is often sought after by both beginning and experienced collectors due to its availability in various grades. While not the rarest of the Morgan dollar series, it still commands attention due to its historical significance and the unique characteristics of the San Francisco Mint's output. The 1887 S. Morgan dollar features the classic design that has made the series so iconic. The obverse displays a portrait of Lady Liberty, wearing a coronet inscribed with the word Liberty. Her hair is styled in a flowing manner, and the coin is marked with the inscriptions E pluribus unum and 1887. The reverse features a majestic eagle with outstretched wings, holding a bundle of arrows and an olive branch, which represent the strength and peace of the United States. Surrounding the eagle is a wreath, and the inscriptions United States of America and $1 complete the design. The S mint mark appears on the reverse just below the eagle, signifying that the coin was minted at the San Francisco Mint. While the 1887 S. Morgan dollar is not as widely known for minting errors as some other coins in the series, there are occasional instances of overstrikes and die cracks that can increase the rarity and desirability of individual pieces. Some coins exhibit slight doubling in the lettering or the date, which collectors find intriguing, though such errors are relatively rare. As with most coins from the late 19th century, there are also examples of weak strikes and other minor imperfections that can affect the overall appearance of the coin. However, well-preserved examples of the 1887 S. Morgan dollar, especially those free from errors, tend to fetch higher prices in the market. In today's auction market, the 1887 S. Morgan dollar in circulated condition can typically range in value from $73,000 depending on the specific grade and quality. Coins that are in better condition, such as those in very fine or extremely fine grades, can easily fetch $79,000 or more, while high-quality pieces that show little to no wear can see prices climb above $100,000. Coins with significant errors or unique characteristics, such as doubled lettering or overstrikes, can command premium prices in specialized auctions. The 1887 S. Morgan dollar is an important coin for collectors who focus on U.S. silver dollars or the Morgan dollar series in particular. Its relatively affordable price, combined with the historical appeal of the Morgan dollar, ensures that the coin remains in demand. The large mintage and availability of this coin make it a popular choice for those looking to complete a collection of Morgan dollars from various years and mint marks. Collectors of all levels appreciate the beauty and history of the 1887 S. Morgan dollar. Whether they are seasoned numismatists or newcomers to the hobby, many seek out this coin to add a piece of American history to their collections. Next up, the 1969 Washington quarter dollar is part of a fascinating period in American coinage history. During the 1960s, the United States was experiencing significant economic and social change. The 1960s was a decade marked by civil rights movements, political unrest, and growing cultural shifts. However, in the world of numismatics, this decade also represented a time when certain coinage errors began to appear, making certain years of coins highly desirable to collectors. In particular, the 1969 Washington quarter is one of the most interesting years for collectors, not necessarily because of its widespread popularity, but due to a few rare features that have emerged over time. This quarter, made primarily of 90% silver and 10% copper until 1964, transitioned to a copper-nickel-clad composition starting in 1965. Therefore, by 1969, the quarter was composed of a sandwich of 75% copper and 25% nickel, a change that affected the appearance and durability of the coin. The 1969 Washington quarter features George Washington on the obverse, as well as the iconic eagle on the reverse. However, the most interesting aspect of this coin comes from a rare error, a cut line on Washington's portrait, which is what makes this coin particularly valuable. Errors such as this are what collectors search for, as they represent moments in the minting process that did not go as planned. What makes the 1969 Washington quarter truly stand out in the collector world, however, is the cut line error on Washington's portrait. This error occurs when an irregularity in the die or minting process causes a line to be imprinted across the portrait, often resembling a scratch or gouge in the metal. This error is relatively rare and makes this particular quarter highly sought after by coin collectors. The 1969 Washington quarter was minted in massive numbers. According to the United States Mint, more than 500 million quarters were produced in 1969, which means that this coin was fairly common in circulation at the time. However, the number of coins that exhibit the cut line error is much lower, and this rarity is what elevates the coin's value. The cut line error on the portrait of Washington is what sets this coin apart from its more common counterparts. While the vast majority of 1969 Washington quarters are unremarkable, the ones with this specific error are far less common. The error likely occurred due to a malfunction in the dies used for striking the coins, which led to an accidental incision on Washington's face. Collectors who specialize in errors and oddities in coinage are particularly drawn to coins with mistakes like this one. For collectors, errors like the cut line on Washington's portrait are highly coveted, as they are seen as unique and indicative of a time when the minting process wasn't entirely automated. The cut line gives this coin a certain charm and tells a story about how imperfect the minting process could be, which is a characteristic that only makes such coins more valuable and intriguing to numismatists. In today's market, a 1969 Washington quarter with a cut line error in circulated condition can be worth anywhere between $66,000 depending on the severity of the error and its visual appeal. Coins in better condition, or those with clearer error lines, can fetch even higher prices at auction. The market for error coins, particularly those like the 1969 Washington quarter, is quite strong. Although the mintage of this coin was high, the rarity of the error and its appeal to collectors looking for unique, imperfect pieces drives up its market value. As with many error coins, the value largely depends on the rarity of the error, the overall condition of the coin, and collector demand. On average, a circulated 1969 Washington quarter with a cut line error might be valued anywhere between $66,000 in auction markets. For higher-grade examples or coins with a particularly prominent error, you could see prices reaching up to $72,000 or more. Next up, the 1970 Washington quarter dollar, minted by the United States Mint, was part of a series that showcased the iconic image of George Washington, our first president, on the obverse side of the coin. The reverse side depicts an eagle perched on a branch with the inscription United States of America and E pluribus unum, along with the denomination quarter dollar. The coin is part of a series that spanned decades, with Washington's portrait being a lasting tribute to the nation's first president. By 1970, the coinage had moved away from silver to copper nickel-clad compositions for quarters, reflecting the economic needs and trends of the time. In 1970, there were significant shifts in the minting processes and coin compositions, largely influenced by economic changes such as inflation. The United States Mint was facing a surge in demand for coinage, particularly for circulating quarters, as more and more coins were needed to meet the demands of everyday transactions. This quarter, in particular, was minted with a significant error that would come to light in subsequent years, driving its rarity and value among collectors. The mintage of the 1970 Washington quarter is key to understanding its rarity and market value today. The total production of the 1970 quarter exceeded 300 million coins, which, on the surface, might suggest that it is a fairly common coin. However, the scarcity of certain error variants, especially those that feature mint mark errors and unique defects, has significantly increased their value. In terms of design, the 1970 Washington quarter features the standard obverse portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan. The reverse features the eagle, a powerful symbol of the United States designed by Herman McNeil. The design is simple yet symbolic, representing the nation's enduring strength and heritage. The 1970 coin was produced in two major mint facilities: Philadelphia, which does not mark its coins with a mint mark, and Denver, which uses a D mint mark. As such, the Denver minted coins were identified by the D mint mark, a key feature when it comes to understanding error coins. Error: D mint mark in lamination. Error condition. One of the most intriguing aspects of the 1970 Washington quarter is its error variant, particularly when it features the D mint mark in a lamination error condition. A lamination error occurs when layers of metal do not properly bond together during the minting process. This can create peeling or flaking areas on the coin, which is known as the lamination defect. These types of errors are relatively rare and are highly sought after by collectors. In the case of the 1970 Washington quarter with the D mint mark, these defects are usually found in the quarter's surface, often giving the coin an uneven or pitted appearance. Lamination errors like this one are caused by impurities in the metal or issues with the dies during the minting process. For collectors, these errors are highly valuable because they provide insight into the intricacies of coin production, making the error coin a unique artifact in the history of the U.S. Mint. The 1970 Washington quarter with a lamination error is a highly coveted piece for serious collectors. While the regular, non-error versions of the 1970 quarter are not especially rare, this particular error coin stands out for its unusual features and imperfection. Coins with minting flaws like this are considered unique and are highly prized by collectors who appreciate the rarity and historical significance of these anomalies. Error coins in general tend to be valued at a premium compared to their non-error counterparts, especially when the error is noticeable and dramatic. The D mint mark, in particular, adds another layer of rarity and value, as collectors often seek to complete mint mark-specific collections. The lamination error further elevates the coin's appeal, as it demonstrates a manufacturing flaw that is particularly difficult to replicate, making it a one-of-a-kind treasure in the world of coin collecting. In today's auction market, the value of a 1970 Washington quarter with a large date and a D mint mark in lamination error condition can vary significantly based on the severity and prominence of the lamination error. On average, you might expect such a coin to fetch anywhere between $30,000, with higher-end examples reaching beyond $35,000 if the lamination error is particularly striking and the coin is in relatively good condition,